My name is Proteus, Ward 3. And I appreciate you hearing me tonight. I want to speak briefly to a topic that is difficult but requires us to face it. Over the course of the summer, I fell into despair and attempted to redact myself from this life. I'm not saying that to garner sympathy. The context is important. When I was facing this crisis in my life, I was told by my therapist that my life matters. She said the world needs me in it. She said there would be a loss if I were gone. Her saying these things was supposed to make me feel connected, loved, valued, and want. I only felt lied to. It made it so much worse that she, and the system she represents, could perform this script, then wash their hands as though they had done all they can do. Script stands for Social Control Reinforced / Reproduced in Practice / Performance Talk / Text. That's Social Control Reinforced / Reproduced in Practice / Performance Talk / Text. Before plummeting into despair, I really tried to believe the lie. I went to therapy, and I did the work at warp speed. I devoted every waking moment to the psychology of trauma, cycles of abuse, healthy attachment, toxicity, gaslighting, manipulation, coercion, narcissistic red flags, triggers, somatic and nutritional practices, dialectical behavioral therapy, existential psychology, and so many other related topics that aren't as readily at the top of my mind. I took meds for depression and anxiety. Then I took more of them. Then I took more of them. Then I took different ones. Then I took more of them. I was trying to matter, but there is no prescription pill that can make you matter. There's no breathing technique, or performance of the work-life balance script, or setting of boundaries that can make me matter. When you don't matter, you know because the world makes sure you know. There's no pill that can make unlivable conditions livable. I was born in Wheat Ridge, but grew up in Arvada. My mom never intended to allow me to have an autonomous life. She made sure everyone knew it. She told everyone that she had children to have her own personal slaves, and she was quite proud of it. When I turned 18, I knew the only way out of the abuse I was born into would be to cut myself off. I found myself stranded in Wyoming, and as grateful as I was for the abuse to end, they made sure that I knew I wasn't from there, and I never had access to networks I would later understand determine whether you survive. I've lived on the streets, on couches, and in cars. I made a bed for my teenagers at the time in the back of the Longmont Papa John's. Their Loveland store still has my deep freezer from when I went homeless in Laramie and followed their promises to help me find housing if I managed their trouble store. 2015 seems 5 lifetimes ago. I was an easy scapegoat. They never helped, but they blamed me and made me train under their cruelest boss, right here in Loveland. My pay was barely above minimum wage, and the man who allowed the 3 of us to stay in a room in his house in Longmont had started to demand payment. He was not interested in money. This was not the second or third time that my situation became untenable, and I had to give up the tiny bit of stability I had worked so hard for. This cycle has repeated for me over and over again, because I never had autonomy. I've worked hard. I got 2 bachelor's degrees with top marks. I sat in the non-traditional seat of the University of Wyoming Associated Student Government. I became a member of a sorority and house mom of a fraternity. I did 3 years of master's work on social health, the health that exists between and through us, while acting as a traditional surrogate. I tried really hard to matter, but none of those efforts count if you can't keep housing. I don't have access to the same economic avenues. I lacked the connections to utilize my degrees, and I had a partner who refused to allow me to make those connections. It was life or death. I have always been ownable. Because our system works actively against the autonomy of those at the bottom. I've always had to risk my life to get out, and it's always taken years after starting to try to leave. I'm a commodity having empty pockets in a pay-to-play system that values only my ability to make profit for those benefiting from my struggle. So, this summer I had been trying to separate from my most recent owner. It felt impossible, and I knew having some medical stuff combined with my already inhibited ability to participate in the American economy has a predictable outcome. So, I tried to end my life, and they told me that my life matters. Since then, I've heard over and over again that it really doesn't matter. I'm disposable to Loveland City Council. Even those who think I might have a right to be a person aren't willing to fight for it. Across 3 states, I've never found a police department that wasn't happy to prey on its most vulnerable citizens. It's what they do for sport. Loveland PD fits right in, and the evidence is abundant. I've heard from the businesses I've supported saying what a liability it is to allow people like me to be existing. So, which one is it? Do I matter? Am I disposable? Should I have sealed the deal this summer? Am I human? Do I have any value to this community other than my ability to pad the pockets of the oligarchs? What does it say that this question will split the room? You can dispose of me. You can disappear me. You can harass me and punish me. So long as I have breath, I will fight for those who you've silenced, whether I matter or not. I will fight for them relentlessly, because nobody has ever fought for me. Camp Hope Loveland isn't over.
At King Soopers, you never compromise. You get up high quality that's guaranteed